Hello and welcome to part 2 of how to stand out from other session artists. So in the first video we talked about differentiation, and that is the factor that makes you different, that makes you stand out from the other musicians out there. Now in this part 2 video we're going to talk about positioning those differentiating factors into your marketing, into your branding, into your business, so people actually know what makes you different. If you've already watched part 1 and you've discovered your differentiating factors, you've come up with 1 to 3 ideas that make you stand out from the rest, now it's time to position them. To quickly sum up positioning in the most simple way possible, imagine you had a state-of-the-art studio with rare, vintage, analog gear, incredible looking studio, and you didn't have a single picture of it on your website, on your social media, anywhere to be found. People don't have a clue about the incredible facilities or gear that you have, and therefore you are missing out on potential clients. You are missing on a great opportunity to attract more people with the thing that makes you special and unique. And that is why positioning is so important. It's basically just taking what makes you unique and putting it out there for everyone to see. The easiest way to differentiate yourself and make people understand what makes you unique is by having a simple tagline. And I know musicians probably would hate the thought of doing this because, a musician is a musician for a reason. People don't think about thinking of things like a business. So it's important to think of things like a business, think of these marketing techniques, and actually implement a tagline into your business. So this doesn't have to be long, if anything, the shorter the better really. But in a few words, you just need to sum up the kind of sound you offer, the kind of services you provide. Just sum that up in a simple tagline. This is specifically for those who have found their own specialization, their own niche, and you want to simply just sum up what you do in a few words. So you say, look, I do this in this niche. So I record drums for metal artists. So obviously you'd make it more enticing than that, the actual tagline itself, but that is the message that you want to portray with the simple tagline, what you do and who you appeal to. Secondly, if you do have a logo for your business, it needs to reflect what you do. It needs to reflect your own niche. If you're into metal music and you work with metal music only, make sure that your logo reflects that. It's not a picture of a unicorn with a rainbow over it. If you work with pop artists, make it reflect that you work with pop artists. Your branding and your image also goes into who you attract massively. So make sure that your branding, your logo, your image all suits that. I touched on this in the example that I provided earlier, but you need to include relevant pictures on your website. There's no point in just putting random pictures that have nothing to do with what you do or what you offer. If you do have unique facilities or gear, make sure you put pictures of that up. If you have a close relationship with your clients and you work face to face, then post some pictures of you in the studio working with people with smiles on your faces. You'll be surprised at how you can portray yourself so well with pictures on your website. It's just people don't do this effectively enough. People are always quick to just chuck up any pictures on there. That's always the last thing on the website. Chuck up the pictures on there and get it up and running. You need to put some more thought into this. If there's a way you can portray these things that make you different, these differentiating factors to people, then you should be doing that through images. The main way that you will want to be positioning these differentiating factors will be on your website. After all, this is where most people will discover you and will most likely be asking for a quote and or contacting you. This tagline that you've come up, make sure that's at the top of your website, nice and big and bold with a call to action below. If there's one particular service that you've come to that makes you unique, that is your differentiating factor, then make sure you focus on solely that as well. Don't start chucking all these other things onto your website, all these other little services which you could get potentially but you're not great at doing. If you do specialize in one service, make sure that your website focuses on that solely. If you've decided to differentiate yourself through things like customer service, make sure that you position your reviews as well. Make sure you position money back guarantees and revision amounts and really focus on that. It's not rocket science. Simply, if there's something that makes you different, you've picked your differentiating factor, then you need to just make a note of this on your website so people know what makes you unique and what makes you better than someone else in your field. Things don't just stop at your website though. If someone comes to your website, you've got your differentiating factor, you've said what makes you unique, you say that my customer service is great, I've got all these 5-star reviews, I give you unlimited refunds and revisions, and also take a look at all this fancy analog gear that I've got in my studio to get you the sound you want. That's great. They've filled out your contact form and they want a quote from you. So when it comes to sending this quote, the hard work is still to be done. Don't stop at trying to impress and wow potential clients at this point. You need to include these differentiating factors into your quote form at some point, whether that's in the services that are included, whether that's in the more information section where you just try and entice them and give them a bit more detail about how you can help. You need to do your best to wow and include your differentiating factors in your quote form. So at that point, when they get the quote and they read it, then they are sold on it. They know that you're the person for the job and you stand out from all the other musicians that I've inquired about this project to. If you'd like some more free information on how to get more clients as a session musician, whether that's remote recording, live work or teaching, then please click the link below in the description. You'll get a free PDF guide sent straight to your email that'll give you 2 ways that are very effective in helping you win more session clients.